I was asked a while ago about one of my favorite video games from my childhood. One that I actually played at the time, not just one that released when I was young, but didn't play until much later. I decided to go with Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal as my choice. This game was one of my earliest introductions to console gaming, and video gaming as a whole. I wasn't really old enough to actually play the game myself when it came out. I was 5, and we didn't have either of the first two games to start with. But some of my earliest and best memories with my dad are of him playing video games and me sitting next to him, pointing out things that he missed or paths that he could have taken. This game was one of the first ones I remember doing that with him. Being the third game in the franchise and one of my earlier gaming memories, this meant there was plenty to go back to and revisit when I was old enough. From the first two games in the franchise, to other Insomniac developed games, and the other PlayStation mascot games in Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Sly Cooper, my love for console gaming really took off with Ratchet and Clank 3. What makes this game so special to me? Despite everything I've just mentioned, it's also just a quality game. Nostalgia aside, there's plenty to enjoy. Insomniac put an effort to include then-relevant pop culture references, like in-universe pop star Courtney Gears and the President of the Galaxy, President Phyronix, were references to Britney Spears and Bill Clinton respectively. The character work and humor were also on point. Dr. Nefarious, the villain, is incredibly funny and legitimately evil. He doesn't simply bumble his way to the top, he works for and earns his victories, with the help of Lawrence the Butler, of course. Ratchet and Clank are as strong a duo as they've ever been up to this point, and Captain Quark gets the payoff to his character arc that's lasted for the entire trilogy to this point.
Miss Gears may be in league with Dr. Nefarious.
Yeah, who knew? She always seems so sweet and innocent in her videos. Well, except for that one with the... you know...
She might possess information about what Nefarious is planning.
That's great!
Oh, right.
Oh, I love
And
that.
if we win that grand prize on
That's not everything, though. The skydiving sections, Mega Man-style minigames, the multiplayer, the battle missions, the arena challenges, armor and weapon vendors, collectibles, vehicles, obstacle courses, the music. There's an incredible amount of game jammed into the one disc, despite only having a year of proper development time, if that. It really inspired my modern taste in games. Borderlands, Mario, Horizon, Xenoblade, not to mention the other Ratchet games. They all have qualities in common that can be traced back to this game as a starting point. It's not perfect by any means, especially being judged over 2 decades after release. It's beautiful for a PlayStation 2 game, but would maybe need some more visual polish if it were one releasing in 2026. One of its biggest criticisms is that in terms of gameplay, it's just more of the second game, with a combat and mission focus, as opposed to having exploration and platforming. It's high praise, both for the second game and for the lack of drop-off in quality, but it didn't quote-unquote innovate the same way the first two games did. There was also a problem with development crunch, but that's not really my area of expertise. I'll leave a link to a video by the Golden Bull that goes into an incredible amount of depth and detail in the description. They have similar videos on the rest of the franchise and more beyond that if you're interested. They're worth a watch. Hashtag not sponsored. Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal was a huge part of my childhood, and influenced me greatly into my adult life, with the other games that I play, what I pay attention to with them, and what some of the industry is like as a whole. And that's what makes it one of my favorites. Thank you so much for watching.